join in and for others to join in and for them to also be a part of this great moment. So once again, I welcome you all, and I can assure you that tonight is going to be another enriching time to learn and to hear from industry experts about their design journey and success story. So I would want you to get your pen and your jotter or whatsoever jotting material that you might want to use ready, as there's a whole lot that is that will be dispersed to this evening. So just for those that maybe this is the first time that you are joining on this webinar, or maybe this is the first time that you are joining any Bezalel event, you can as well catch up on the previous editions from our social media platform, the YouTube. So you can just do well to watch the video to learn and to gain from the past editions that we have. So shortly before we just go into what we have for today, I would just like us to just have a word of prayer together. Father, we thank you for another moment tonight to say, be thou exalted. We ask that as we go, that you go with us in the name of Jesus, that the spirit of Bezalel, that you, the Lord, will make it evident here. Thank you because you've answered our prayer, and that at the end of it all, that we all would be a better version of ourselves. For in Jesus' mighty name, I've prayed. Amen. All right. So like I said, for those that this is your first time of joining a Bezalel event or this edition of Unlock Your Creative Potential, this is Bezalel Design Academy, an academy that is committed to training creatives and designer in all spheres of the industry. So we have different programs, we have different campaigns that we run just to make sure we equip people with the necessary skills to stand out in the society, to stand out in their different design fields. So we have our courses, we have campaigns that we organize from time to time. To mention a few, we have Turning Addiction into Career campaign. We also have the Digi campaign, which is digital transformation, which is a sensitization program for secondary school students. Maybe before the end of this meeting, we'll still get to show the flyers, and then also for the available courses, so you can just check it out as well. And also you can check out our website at bezalelgroups.org, so you can also catch up on every of the editions of the programs that we've had and the campaigns that we have as well. Then the link to join our community has also been sent to the group, so you can just do well to join, as well as resourceful materials and opportunities that are being shared from time to time. So not to take too much of our time, like I said, tonight is going to be another enriching moment, and tonight what we'll be considering is design journey and success stories. And we have an amazing personality who happen to be the founder and the director of Bezalel Design Academy here with us tonight to walk us through his design journey and his success story. And I can assure you that you would have a whole lot to learn from this. So I would want to hold you that if you are distracted, if you are doing something at the moment, you can just do well to pen those things and pay your full attention. So without further ado, can we just make welcome Mr. Oyewole Aanuoluwa, the founder and the director of Bezalel Design Academy. All right, over to you, sir.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening once again. It's a pleasure to be hosting everyone on this call, and even those that will be watching later on YouTube and our other social media channels. It's a very, very good thing to have us together. Thank you for joining. All right. So quickly, we'll move on to what we have for today. And I'll start by saying that we have a guest, and the guest may not just be able to join this call. One or two things happened, and we just have to move on from there. So that's the situation at the moment. All right. So design journey and success stories. About 2 weeks ago, we had a very fantastic guest, Peace Ogunake, who did excellently well to the topic by sharing her personal story. So she started by sharing her story, how she started, and then the growth and also success stories. So I'll share a few today, and then we'll also have a program manager who will join me shortly to help us moderate things much more better. All right. So I start that podcast team, and this would also be a shout out to a very good friend of mine, uh, Aanuoluwa Oyewole. So back at secondary school, we were just out of school. That 2013, he uses Photoshop for photography, photo editing, photo manipulations, and all that. So one day he was working, and then I prognosed. I just peeped into his screen. So I got interested, and then since that time, like it's been a very fantastic journey. So that was how I started officially. Before then was when our parents bought a desktop computer for us as kids, and then parents, they will say this phone is for everybody, this computer is for everybody. But then the elder ones, the one in the middle, will get to fight for it. So my brother started learning. He enrolled in a computer school. I didn't enroll. So I'll go there, I'll visit, I see what they were doing. I'm like, okay, I can do this thing. So once we hear up NEPA, I run to the computer room, I start working. And then when it comes as the elder brother now, so I just have to give up. And on and on and on like that. Then we started this imitation competition where you see a design and then you recreate it. We'll get to recreate the same thing. I remember we recreated the cover page of some of these notebooks, especially Obandi National Primary School. We recreated a number of logos. We'll just go online, search for them. We recreated the ambassador logo. I remember very well. We recreated Lydia auxiliary logo for those of us that are part of the Baptist family. All right, so that was how the journey started, and then formally in 2013 with my friend, like I shared. So it will show me a few things, and I'll go back later, watch YouTube, and then on and on like that. Then I started designing flyer for my church, Urban Baptist Church. Shout out to my pastor who didn't consider the design too awkward to share. So sometimes when you do things for people, even though it's free, it's still left to them whether to use it or not, right? And so I kept on designing for church. We'll use it, we'll post, and on like that. And I was able to gain confidence in that direction. Then fast forward, I kept practicing. So fast forward to how Bezalel Design Academy started. We started 2022, 2021. I was in Aquarium, went for NYC. Then at the latter part of that period of serving our dear nation, it occurred to me out of importance that this thing cannot just be about one person any longer, and it's a platform we could use to reach out to other people and many other things that I may not want to go into the details now. So that was the journey so far. I started as a company, and then so success stories, I'll just touch it briefly, and then our program manager will come up to stage. All right. It's been very interesting. Maybe I should just pause and then share a few things on the journey. The journey again, when I was in Akwa Ibom, I had a few projects to work on for free. And those projects were key projects that defined my ability, key projects that brought excitement to what we have to do. I remember having a book project, so I had a book application. My department back at my department, that's department of on this call knows that I'm an architect. So yeah, so I had to do that, and I did it fantastically well. The book was published. We did an edition too, and that was so from my volunteering role to free services, then to paid services. But the paid services, the volunteering were major that really helped my. They were key part of the journey. So I just thought to. So all right, let's welcome program manager now. And we move on. Mr. Bukola, welcome.
All right, thank you very much, sir. So I'll just be asking a couple of questions, and because we know that the people that are on this call and those that will still get to watch on our YouTube channel later on spans across the different level of design, both from designers to sales to beginners to mid-level to experts. So I would ask questions across the different levels so that everyone can benefit from it. So, and also for those that are listening, maybe during the course of the session, if you have any question, you can as well jot it down so that when the opportunity comes to ask the question, you can do well to do that. So I would like to ask, I think this is like a common and a general question, and it's about what exactly inspired you to start your design journey, and then what did the first few months or years look like when you decided to pursue the dream of graphics design or design generally?
All right, the first few months was it wasn't pleasant. It was exciting, but it was not pleasant. It was exciting because I was able to try a couple of things, and I'm happy I got it. It was challenging because I had to go extra mile. Okay, so I want to recreate this logo, and then I could be on it for a whole day. I can be on it for 3 days, just trying to crack the code because I didn't have the structured learning. It wasn't that someone sat me down to say, okay, this is how you to do things. I didn't have that experience, which makes my journey very fantastic. So starting out was exciting. You know, the joy of getting things done, the joy of, okay, I finally provided solution to this thing. Okay, so yeah, I got this thing and then I got it right. So that joy, yeah, it was the courage that kept me going, but the challenge is just part of the journey. And one of the quotes that I find very, very helpful in the Bezalel that we did for TAIC is, I welcome creative challenges. I really didn't know the depth of that word until recently. When we're saying we welcome creative challenges, what it means is you are calling for what is going to challenge you. You are calling for, you welcome what you don't know in a bit that you're ready to learn. So that's a journey, or that's a summary for every creative.
Okay, thank you very much for that, sir. Thank you very much. So just in line of that question as well, there's this way that most people maybe they have a dream of pursuing a career in graphics design, and maybe due to some factors they can't really be committed to an institution, and they are trying to self-learn. And I think from what you mentioned, you made mention of the fact that okay, at the point where you started, you had no, let's say, mentor, someone that was putting you through. But what exactly was the drive or the motivation that kept you going, even with those let's say with the design as at then? I believe that okay, design might not be as good as you want it. There are times that you would have maybe someone like me now that I hate merging colors together. Like it's always as though like it's not flowing. So, and with that part of okay, you not even have someone that you can, send it to the okay, this is an expert, let me send the design, the person can give correction. So exactly what motivated you to keep going, and then till you were able to attain the level that you've attained today?
Okay, thank you. All right, so my motivation was self-motivation. Self-motivation. I was just so fascinated. I was interested, and then the cracking the code, yeah, the joy that comes with cracking the code was really what got me going. And even till now, there's so much joy that comes with cracking the code in my architecture career, in leading the team at Bezalel, in designing. There's a unique joy that comes with cracking the code. And for any person who is really passionate about the creative industry, that joy should be a core motivation. It wasn't about money. It wasn't that the challenges were not changing. It wasn't that the gap of not having someone to run was not good enough to even discourage me. But there's Baptist and it's in Europe. That says Ìṣẹ́gun kan fi ipá fún òmíràn. One victory is going to for others. That's the summary. Cracking that joy gives strength to go ahead, take another challenge, crack the code, go again, and on and on and on. But I say that my experience was not open. So that part of mental, yeah, it left a gap in my experience because I didn't have structure. Even till now, I still go ahead to take some courses to fill some of those gaps here and there. So if I would just give any advice at this point, I would say if there's anybody with self-learning, at a point you would need to get a structured mentor or structured experience. It is very vital. All right.
Okay, thank you very much for that, sir. You've actually answered my next question slightly about okay, can you hear me?
Oh, I'm guessing the network is acting up. So let me just add a few points to that. You see, when you are self-learning, whether you are even self-learning or you are learning under a guardian or you are learning whatever the experience might be, self-motivation is important. And I will also divert a little to talk about the work itself. If you have something you are doing and you are not self-motivated, trust me, you are not going to win at it. You are not going to be celebrated. Nobody is going to know you for it. As a staff, as an employer, as sorry, so my friend I mentioned at the beginning of this call, I just saw him join the call now. So shout out to Mr. Lulu Akegbe later got me started into graphic design. So I shared a story of peeping into your screen while you were doing some photo edits as far back as 2013. And that's how the journey has started and we have evolved. Thank you for being a good friend. All right. So like I was sharing, self-motivation is a core part of whatever it is that we need to do. Either you are learning, either you are working, either you are building something. It just must be self-motivated. So like I shared, there was really, what's it called? The external motivation. There was barely external motivation within those periods. Darasimi, you raise your hand. Please go ahead. You have a question? All right, so I guess that's a mistake. So that's it about self-motivation. Do we have a program manager back now?
Yes, can you hear me now? Sorry, can you hear me now? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, all right. So thank you very much for that, sir. I think the network was acting up earlier. So I said you've answered a part of what I wanted to ask next, and it was about how that you've experienced the two sides, self-learning without really having someone who's like an overhead or like an academy that you're submitted to, or a mentor that is putting you through things. And then I believe that you've at the point you had someone that you're submitted to. So I just wanted to say that what would be your advice to designers that always feel like, okay, I can figure it out all by myself. I don't have to register for an academy. I don't have to be submitted to someone before I can learn. I can just take a few courses and I'll be all good by myself. So what would be your advice to people with such mentalities?
Number one, you see, I have to say that because the way God created us as human beings, He did not create anybody to be independent. You are not meant to do anything in this life alone. Your neighbor is there to assist you. Your friend is there to assist you. That's the creation. So if you think, or you just keep on ignoring people, I don't need you. And now that we even have AI, I don't need anybody. I can just go. In fact, before the evolution of AI, YouTube has always been there. But for many of us who watch YouTube, we know how tedious it is to learn from YouTube. Because the content you are watching is not structured. It's not structured for you. So you probably watch an introduction today, and then tomorrow you see something about another topic, and then next tomorrow. In fact, now thank God for playlists, but we cannot remove humanity from whatever it is that we are doing. So that is important. Yes, do you need to go extra mile to self-learn? Yes, good. But you need a structured learning, and mentors will do very good. More importantly, because when you have a mentor, you have their years of experience. Their experience is going to save you from error. I was in a chat with a colleague maybe about 2 weeks ago, and he said, why reinvent the wheel? You do not always have to reinvent the wheel. Maybe I should also branch to share one of the hints I did then. So for me, I do not want to use anybody's font. I do not want to use anybody's color. I do not want to use anybody's image. I was so interested about creating everything by myself. So if I want to use a color, I want to create it. If I want to use a font, I want to create it. Just in the midst of originality, I want to own it. It should be unique. Originality. And in the creative industry, originality does not mean that you have to start from scratch. You do not always have to reinvent the wheel. All right. I believe I've answered your question.
Yes, sir, you've answered that. Thank you very much for that. So for those that are just joining, please just follow along, and if during the course of the session you have any question, you can just note it down, and when the time comes to ask the question, you'll be permitted to ask your question. All right, so moving on. Now most times when you pick a career path, or have something that you are so much interested in, there's always a kind of resistance from, let's say, family at times. It can also be from the society at times. It can be from your friends, as to um making it look as though, like, okay, this thing is not uh something that can work for you, or maybe your parents have like something else that they want you to go into, and then telling them that, okay, I want to be a design specialist, I want to go into design, I want to do this and do that, and then there's just this resistance. Like, instead of getting their support, what you're getting is like a repulsion, as to you can't do these things. So I don't know if you faced this. If you faced it, then you can just share with us how you deal with it, or if not, you can just give tips as to how that can be dealt with for people that are having those kind of restrictions now, or resistance.
Okay, thank you. So first, let's talk about acceptance. Then we'll come back to talk about believing in yourself. You see, acceptance should start from within. So, Okola, I was sharing with you maybe about a few days ago. I'm like, I didn't study architecture. I didn't come out with the grade and all of that that God blessed me with to drop it, and then to, you understand it. So what I'm saying
Yeah.
is, okay, so your parents probably want you to become a medical, and then you are saying it's graphic design I want to do. I mean, it looks like two different worlds, right? But the truth is, there's a way that you can sync the two together. And I've been sharing with people on the team. Do not drop your certificates for graphic design. I do not encourage that. Do not drop your certificates for content writing. I do not encourage that. So find a way to integrate the two together. That's just my best counsel. So in my personal life, what I'm doing is I'm bringing my graphic design skill into architecture. And even in graphic design, I'm bringing architecture into it. So when I jury or when I critique some designs, my team will be like, Oga, your own too much. Oh. It's not really me. It's just my background. I'm coming in with two different things. I'm coming in with architecture. I'm coming in with graphic design. So that is why I'm unique in this particular niche. And then about believing in yourself. Don't wait for anybody to believe in you before you believe in yourself. In fact, nobody should believe in you more than you believe in yourself. I used to say that respect the hour that you've put in to do something. It may not be the best, you may not get it, you may not be there yet. But as long as you have moved an inch, respect yourself, respect that hour. Eri, you're not nice. So Eri is saying reduce by 2 PT, that's 2 points. And then you will probably be wondering, like, what's 2 points going to do? Maybe in font is at 14, and then I'm saying reduce it by 2 points. And you're wondering, like, what's it going to do? Yeah, so that's that. So nobody should believe in you more than yourself. Respect the hour, the investment, the effort you've put in to do something. And that should be good enough to believe in yourself. You see, expertise is a journey. Expertise is a journey. Nobody is going to judge someone in nursery for not being able to do 500 times 1 million. Nobody. Nobody is going to judge someone in nursery 1 for not being able to do the YDX. Nobody is going to judge him or her. So it's a journey. They just believe, in fact, they will make a case for the person and say, school. When did the person start going to school? Which kind of question would be that one? Why are you asking someone at that level this kind of question? You get, so that's to tell you that expertise, it is a journey. So as long as you are moving, celebrate yourself. As long as you are moving, give yourself the necessary accolades. As long as you are moving, because complacency is another thing entirely. But if you are moving, believe yourself. Set goals. When you crush those goals, celebrate yourself. All of those things will come together to give you the strength to make you feel like, okay, you are doing something, and that way you will believe in yourself. Yes, external motivation, external factors, parents, siblings, bosses, and all these people believing in you, it matters. It matters. But when you are not getting it, don't, in fact, don't depend on them. Don't depend on them. I'm sure my friend will have something to share when he started his photography too. Some people were looking at him like, guy, are you crazy? I mean, your mates are seeking for admission. You are carrying camera up and down. I remember one of the waka that we waka then. We went inside one bush like that to go and take picture. You get, so as long as you are moving, celebrate yourself, believe in yourself, be sure that this is what God wants you to do. And if that is what you are doing, you are good to go. So that is it.
All right, thank you very much for that. So I think I was able to pick some points there as well. I think the first thing is that you yourself should be convinced that, okay, this is what I want, and have a very solid reason as to doing it, and believe in yourself first. It is when you believe in yourself that you can convince, other people as to why you think that's the best thing to do at that time. So thank you very much for that. Now I would like to move on to the growth and the breakthrough moment. And within just a few minutes, I don't know if you can share with us a major turning point in your career, that point that made you feel like, oh, finally, I think this thing is all coming together. I'm finally getting this thing. And maybe also tips as to what you think you did better that resulted to that turning point, or that resulted to that change.
All right, so I'll start with pricing. So there were times I collected a kobo for design, either flyer or what have you. So there was that. And there's a time I do something. Now, if you come with flyer, I'm able to do, because you is you, but you may not be able to afford it. Like, almost. So don't let people go. I just refer them to my people. Okay, okay, Peter, you get, so that kind of thing. So pricing. And how did I get to that point? It is from tracking your growth. Where are you at? Where were you? Where are you at now? And where are you going? Another simple way to examine that is the level of what you bring to the table now. What do you use to bring it to the table, and what do you bring to the table now? So that is a brief summary to that. And then another thing is, I worked on a particular project, and I was in awe that I could pull it through. Yeah, that was the book project I mentioned at the beginning. Like, I'm not sure if the camera will do justice. So I have the book with me. I have a copy of the book now. So when I did the project, I was still in doubt. When they called the printer, I was still shaking. Shit, this guy will not call back that there's a challenge somewhere. Hope this guy will not get. And then I sent the file for printing. The guy printed, and then I got the call. Oh, I know they've delivered the books. I'm like, really? So I went hurriedly, checked the colors, they were intact, checked the lines, checked the font, everything was good. So that's another phase for me. And also when Bezalel started and how God has helped us to scale different campaigns we've had, the feedback, and how the people who attended those events or the campaigns, how fantastic they are doing now.
All right. Thank you very much for that, sir. And just also in relation to that, was there like any moment that you felt like you failed, or maybe you missed a major opportunity? And then can you also share with us like the tips as to how you bounced back and then kept the work going?
Yeah, thank you. You see, well, for me, one common thing that makes me miss opportunities is pricing. Maybe it's not even a bad thing. By the time I give you, yeah, I send my invoice and then you just look one kind. So I just close my eyes and I'm like, nah, it's gone. Yeah, so sometimes because the Tommy will always request for food, there were times I felt like, come on, did I overdo? If I didn't give that kind of price, maybe I would have money to fuel the gen now and there's no light. Maybe I would have been able to afford Gary. Now I'm hungry. So there were faces like that. In fact, there's still a very more recent experience. I sent an invoice for my architecture business, and the guy, he didn't even, when they say I'll get back to you, so you have your answer. But since it's pricing, I think it's good. So at every time when that happens, what I do is to just. All right, sorry about that. It was the network.
All right, all right.
Okay. So like I was saying, what you bring to the table must be commensurate to the amount you charge. You'll be cheating people by the time you charge so high and then they're disappointed by your delivery. Yeah, so if you want to charge high, your process, in fact, it starts with the process from onboarding to client interaction to getting the brief to delivering. How do you deliver? I remember I was having a chat with someone who is also into brand design. And then I'm like, okay, so how do you deliver your logo to your clients? And then he was like, oh, I just send on WhatsApp. I'm like, come on, you don't feel charge high like that. Oh. So you have to optimize your process. And she did. And then the result is fantastic. So the emphasis here is for you to charge high, your process must be high, and then the end value that you'll be delivering must be commensurate. All right.
All right, thank you very much for that, sir. Um, so from what I was able to pick from that is that even though it looks as though like it was a failure, like I mean, I'm not getting jobs or something like that, but it was not from the standpoint of um what's it called? It was not from a standpoint of bad work or not being up to the level of expertise that is needed for the work, but it was from the standpoint of I know what I'm going to give you, and if you can't pay me this amount to give you the best, then I would not degrade, or I would not bring my standards down or give you something that is substandard just so that I can work for that amount, and then I would not really be able to take credibility for the design. So thank you very much for that. And so moving on, we know that the design industry is a very vast industry, and day by day we are seeing different things. Not to even talk of now that we now have the evolution of AI, and it's looking as though like, okay, what's the way forward and all those things. So how do you approach staying relevant in a fast evolving design landscape? Like, how do you ensure that, okay, even though the design industry is going fast, even though we have new designers, we have new concepts coming up every AI agents and all those things, how do you ensure that, okay, you still stay relevant even despite this fast evolving design landscape? And what would be your advice to the designers as well as to how to remain relevant even despite all the oppositions towards the design career?
Okay, thank you. So the first thing I would say is go with the trend, go with them. If the world is evolving, don't argue because you really cannot defeat it. Now we're talking about AI. Some people are saying it is from the pit of hell. Well, I leave that on to them and their congregation. Again, so go with the trend. Don't fight it. You can't even fight it. I was in Anchor University last month and I was sharing with the student that you see the issue of technological evolution has come to stay. One of the days when we used to count counters to do sum, to do simple arithmetics. But now we no longer use counter. In fact, before we came to the world, they started using calculator and on and makes it so fantastic. The earlier ones can only do arithmetics. Recently, they can now go ahead and do scientific maths and on like that. So you cannot fight it. Leverage it. That's the message. Before, if you want to remove a background from an image, it was not beans back then. In fact, I remember we used to do competition about how neat we removed a background from the image. Like, see my own edges. And the edges are so refined, very clean. Look at your own. You didn't get it well. You didn't trim the person's hair, especially when you are working with a female picture, and then this is their hairstyle. But now, within a second, you can remove the background. So thanks to technology, my counsel is leverage it. In fact, text effects on Photoshop, gone are the days when we'll get to struggle, or this is what I want, this is how I want it, and on, and all of those things, right? But now AI has come. You input your text, you give simple direction, you get your text effect. You need a particular vector image, but you're not getting it. Using simple prompts, you can get that done. So technology has come to increase our efficiency. It has come to simplify things. So we are now going towards a world of smart work and not hard work. So if there's anybody who is still there fighting technology, please stop the fight. You cannot win. Leverage technology. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that. I think there was a time that you made a post about the fact that AI would only take your job if you don't know how to leverage AI to do your
Yeah.
job. I'm trying to paraphrase now. So, in all, don't try to beat technology. I mean, it would be unwise to resort to removing backgrounds manually, even when there was the evolution of uh websites that can just help you remove background, and then you're still trying to show that, okay, I'm the best at removing backgrounds. Meanwhile, others are already getting those things done. So basically, evolve with the flow. So thank you very much for that. And now on mentorship, I would just like you to share with us, are there any book, maybe courses or resources that changed your perspective completely, maybe towards life, design, growth, and anything? Can just give recommendations after that.
Okay, so courses and have leverage mentorship and on to who I am today and what we do at Bezalel. The first thing is there's no climax in learning. There should be no time when you will say, okay, I have come to the peak of learning, so I'm not learning again. And you learn even with short videos on YouTube, 30-second videos, or you saw something on Instagram and on and on. So let's come back to structured learning. Yes, in fact, recently I took a course. I think I was sharing with Rebecca or probably Eric. I was sharing with someone on the team that I took a course about 60,000 naira about 3 months ago now, still on design, but not just the general design, right? Because a counsel I would love to give on this call is niche down. Don't do everything, and don't be lost in the pool of graphic design. There are different niches in graphic design, and if you would like to know more about that, just reach out. Will direct you on that. And for courses, yes, personally, I've taken a number of courses, and now we have our own course at Bezalel Design Academy. So if you are willing to learn graphic design, you are just a click away from learning, and learning in the most simplified way. In fact, our tagline is learning at Bezalel is a journey together, and that's truly what it is. Very soon we'll have some people just share their experience, or even if you visit our social media pages, you'll see the comments there, and you will realize that we do not just say that learning for us is a journey together, or that it's a simplified learning experience at Bezalel. That is really what we do, and we are proud of what we do. So I'm also taking a moment to give shout out to all our tutors on this program. They are doing fantastically well. So that is it about learning.
All right, thank you very much for that. So, like you've heard, and I think I mentioned earlier as well that the link to the community is in the chat section. So, do well to join the community. You can also get access to books, resources, and for courses in Bezalel Design Academy, as you covered. So, thank you for that. So, I only have maybe just 2 questions to go, and I'll just open the floor for those that have questions. And the first one now is how that okay, you've been in the industry for a while, but if you had to look back now and let's say do certain things again, what exactly would you do differently if you had chance to, start over and do some things again? What would you do differently?
Yeah. So what I would do differently, I would learn in a very structured manner. You see, well, people say school is a scam, but I tell you, school is not a scam, because to even put the curriculum together, it takes a whole lot of energy. I remember when we were preparing our current graphic design mastery course, it took us months before we could amass the best curriculum. Today we will say, okay, we have this, and then next we'll just review. In fact, after cohort one, we had to review again. So if people are going through that rigorous process to review and ensure that there's balanced learning, and then you are ditching that advantage to say you want to self-learn, you may not be doing yourself the very best, right? So one thing I will do differently, I will take advantage of structured learning. Mind you, it is not bad to even start self-learning. It is not bad to start self-learning. But then along the line, once you're able to identify your passion, you identify your niche, just get a course on that. And two, the second thing is do not follow trends. Yeah, now I mean that when people are saying this software is bad, that one is good. As long as it serves you at the moment, please continue in it. Continue in it. So as long as you are growing, you can then proceed to industry standard tools. Take for instance, probably someone started learning graphic design using CorelDRAW, or someone started using Canva, and that is what is accessible to them at that time. Don't drop it. You may not get this kind of counsel very popular or from all the tools, but I'm telling you, do not drop it. So as you continue to, because the creative industry works on interest. So if you are not, well, a very good case here is Israel. So Israel was using Canva, and then at a point, I'm sure I can't even remember the last time he opened Canva again. He now uses Photoshop. He's into UI UX design. You know all of those things. But if his interest was quenched all in the name of software, I'm sure it won't be where it is now. For a major part, I also used Canva. I started with CorelDRAW back in the days when we used to fight for laptop, for desktop at home, then to Canva, to Photoshop, to Illustrator, and on like that. So that's the two major counsels I would love to share.
All right, thank you very much for that. So before I allow those that wants to ask question, the last question from my end is that what is one story or experience from your journey that you think every aspiring designer should hear?
Okay. So a very inspiring story from my journey. I think that would be when Bezalel came together and we started to grow, we started to scale, right? So Bezalel started, and we were doing we're doing so many things not really in the right way. I mean that we didn't have everything put together at that time. And that's why I used to say, start anyhow, figure it out along the line. And while you start anyhow, there's a level of excellence at every stage. So because I'm starting out today anyhow in code, does not mean I have to do things anyhow. Starting anyhow could mean start with what you have, start with the resources that are available to you, start with who you know, connect with your peers, and at that level, do it fantastically well, do it excellently well. So starting anyhow again does not mean doing things shabbily. And by August, we'll be celebrating 3 years. And if you look at everything we've done within the space of 3 years, I tell you, you will not doubt our integrity. You will not doubt our excellence. You will look and you'll be like, have these guys been here for 10 years? Because we understood starting out anyhow does not mean doing things anyhow. So we started then, we started anyhow. We started with what we have. When we started, we didn't even have a website. Then we'll upload courses on Google Drive. We're using WhatsApp to teach and on like that. Today, we have the learning management system. Any of our students can log in into their portal at any point in time to take their course. So you log in, you do your assessment, you submit. I don't have to be online. If you have question, you drop your question. Anytime the tutor comes online, they will come back and attend to it. So that's very inspiring. Within 3 years, that's very inspiring. Yes, another person might have achieved it in 6 months. Congratulations to the person too. So start anyhow, start with what you have, start with people at that level that you're at, and then scale gradually, scale gradually, scale gradually. Don't wait until the vision is clear. Some of our folks on the team, they will tell you some very funny stories. I'm a very vulnerable person, so I share some things as they come, and then that is it. I remember before we even had our website, I was sharing with Bukola like, okay, this is the goal. I don't know how it's going to happen, but then at this time, and when it happened, we're on a hall, like, guy, you get it. So that is it for me.
All right, thank you very much for that, sir. So now I would like to open the floor for anyone that has questions. So please, if you have any question that you'd like to ask, maybe a challenge you are currently facing and you would want counsel as to how to go about it, or any other question whatsoever, you can just indicate by raising your hand, or you can just drop it in the comment section.
So while we're waiting for questions, I want to emphasize one thing I shared before now, and that's about niche. You probably have heard too many things around find who you are, your passion, that will guide you to what you should do, what not to do, and on, and all of that. Yeah. All of those things are good, and they've said it well, so I'm not even going to that line. But what I'm saying is, as a graphic designer, the start point is you are introduced to the world of graphic design, you are introduced to the software, and then you start designing flyers. Please don't stop there. That is not the best of a graphic designer. You will not make your millions designing flyer alone. You will not make your millions designing. Imagine at your highest excellent level, how much do you want to charge for a flyer? Guys on the call, just call numbers, please. Or let me ask it this way. In the next 5 years, how much do you want to charge for a flyer? Anybody?
100K.
Did you say 100K, 25K? How much, please? I didn't hear you well.
I said 100K.
All right. So in the next 5 years, you want to charge 100K for a flyer. Now, the issue is, what's the inflation projection for that next 5 years? And are you sure there will be anyone who would be willing to pay 50,000 naira for or 100,000 naira for a flyer at that time? However, there are other ways to do the whole thing that can earn you that amount even now. So when you go ahead to niche, okay, I want to be a brand designer. I want to go into publication design. I want to go into marketing design. You can earn that amount that you are envisaging that, okay, in the next 10 years, I would get my million from a single contract. So someone is saying 1 million in the next 5 years. 1 million in the next 5 years for a single flyer. So let's take the next question. Who do you think will pay that amount? Who do you think will be your client? If you want, so the two guys, just let's interact. So Rebecca, if you would be charging 100K in the next 5 years, who do you think will be your client? That person that will be paying that 100K for a flyer. Just mention probably must be an honorable, that kind of thing. And then the other person that said 1 million naira in the next 5 years, who do you think will be your client?
I believe by then my craft would have been more better, and my target audience would have changed by then. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
So I believe this would be my target audience then. By then would be people of higher class. Yeah.
Just
So
mention a class, maybe their average income.
Probably the average. The people at my target audience average income or what?
Yeah.
And the average income should be like 20 M or then I don't know. It depends on how the inflation or whatever the economy is then. So it depends. That 100K self might be more. So I'm just saying, let's say people in the oil company, they should be able to pay that kind of amount.
Yeah. So the other person said corporate institute. Right. So here's where I'm going. Before that next 5 years, AI will be able to do the flyer fantastically well. AI is doing it now. But my wife did some for a brand, and then there were just few spelling errors. You get. So if we have a gap of 5 years for you to earn 1 million naira or 100K per flyer, that means there's a problem. That means there's a threat, right? And that will now make you think, is it even worth it at the end of the day? But here's the secret, and there's what everybody on this call, and even those that will be listening later, should do. When you choose a niche, create packages for that niche. Rebecca will understand our clients, it can code. So we did the branding, the logo, the invoice, the letterhead, the vision, everything. We did it, and then we'll proceed to work with them as the media and brand designer, the media partner. And then he paid us more than if we would have to charge them per flyer. As at then, maybe if we have to charge them per flyer, maybe we'll be begging them to pay 500 naira. That's a joke anyway. We've never we've never collected that. So all right. So but then instead of them paying us 500 naira per flyer, we're collecting something relative to ×2, ×3 per flyer. Okay. So after narrowing down, after creating a niche, and you build on that niche, create packages for that niche, and then you'll be able to charge higher. So that's a counsel I just thought to mention. Because man, I don't want our people to be poor. Everybody, the next party I'll be hosting, I want everybody to come with their Bentley. Amen. All right, over to you. So Bukola.
And can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that. I mean, I think okay, this one is just like is it an input from my end too with the little so I believe at times if people don't hear what certain people are making in the design industry, then they may not be open to the fact that okay, this thing is possible. And that's why at times when Rebecca and the other person was talking about charging 100K for a flyer, 1 million for a flyer, most people would just think that okay, is that even possible? Like 1 million for a flyer, who would pay that? But I have seen people pay more than that. I think there was a time that a football club was to redesign their logo, and I was checking the logo redesign with some of my friends who were like design inclined. And were like, the only thing that they changed in this logo was just the hexadecimal code. Like basically, like it just made the color brighter. And I was saying that they paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to the designer to redesign the logo. I don't know, but I think maybe I mentioned that to you too that time. And we're just like amazed as to this thing is something that even a designer that is just coming up can do. But think what singles out or what makes the company to be convinced that okay, we can pay this amount for this person is the level at which the person has so much grown, and the track records that the person has. So in all that you do, don't stop learning. Don't stop learning. Like our director has rightly said too, there's no end to learning. There's no phase where you say, okay, I'm done now. It's like finishing university and then feel like, okay, I have BSc now. That's all that I can. When there is MSc, there's PhD, there's far more degrees to take. So don't stop learning. Don't be satisfied with the current level that you have. Always be inspired to learn more. Um Thank you very much, everyone, for listening to my TED Talk. All right. So, does anyone has any other question? Okay. If there's no other question, please know that you can also send your questions to the community group, as we have people on standby that would answer your question. And for those that maybe you joined when during the course of the meeting, the link to our community group will be sent again to the chat section. So do well to join the community group to get information, resources, and access to different things that can help you on your career journey. And if you are looking into getting started with graphics design, or you have a friend that is looking into getting started with graphics design, or your siblings, Bezalel Design Academy has you covered. So you can check out our website to see the courses, and you can also reach out to any of the admin on our community group to get you started with it. And I was saying when we started that we have different campaigns that we run. We have the Turning Addiction into a Career campaign, where we teach people how to maximize and make proper use of their mobile devices to earn a living. I also have the recent one, the Digi Transform, which is a digital transformation campaign aimed at sensitizing secondary school students as to the impact of technology and ensuring that they get started early enough. So you can do well to check out all those things as well on our website just to catch up. And if you would like to partner or volunteer or be of any help to the community, we don't discourage that. So you can do well to reach out, and that would be checked, and we can see how we can best work together. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining again tonight. For those that missed the beginning of the webinar and you like to get the full gist, can go ahead to our YouTube channel to watch the whole session and also the previous sessions as well, to catch up. And I promise you they have enriching infos and everything that you can learn from that. Okay, I think this what we are seeing here is the recap of the Digi Transform that we had at Goma Baptist College, Ogbomoso, just a few months ago. So you can just do well to join the community, check out our website. You get to catch up on the different things that we do at Bezalel Design Academy. So once again, I want to especially appreciate everyone for taking our time to join and staying true to these moments. And just as we close, I want to say again, keep learning, keep building, keep making impact, and keep creating. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining, and do have a great evening ahead.